Hey YouTube, this is Jay. I'm going to talk to you today about one of my favorite knives. It's a Victornox Minn-champ. It's a knife I carry most of the time. This particular one on the table is the one I keep up my desk. But I'll show you in a moment the one I normally carry in my pocket. Just to get some of the stats out of the way on it first, the Minn-champ is a 58mm knife, which is approximately 2¼ inches long. The blades are 1¼ to 1½ inches. A couple of them are a little bit shorter than the others, but most of them are 1½ inches. When you open it up, overall length will be 3 7/8 inches. The width of the knife, as you can see there, with the light, which this one has the red light on it, a little small flashlight. They also make a model now with the white light, which is a little bit handier, but the red light, if you're using it at night and you want to save your night vision, that comes in handy. And the standard model, or as I call it, standard, you can see right there, is this one is 5/8 inches wide, and what I call the standard without the light on it is a 1/2 inch wide if you can find them, or you modify and remove the scales and put the other scales on it, which I've done with this one. This is one I carry most of the time. The weight for this knife is 1.6 ounces. So let's get started here. Now, as with most of the small Swiss Army knives, you're going to find a small pair of scissors, which work really well. I use this from cutting paper and tape to trimming my fingernails. Then you have your screwdriver, and on this model it's a Phillips head, about a number 1, with a wire stripper. I use it more for bending wires if I need to make a shape, with bottle opener, or as they say, cap lifter. And then you have your pen blade, and on the pen blade, see if we can get a good close-up here. Let's see if you can see right here where it will say Victornox. And then on this particular model, you have the pen. And if you take one of your implements, I normally use a screwdriver, gives you a little bit more to hold on to and use it as a small pen. And I find it quite comfortable to write with. I can write notes and such. If you're carrying one of these with you, then you know you have a pen all the time. Then over on the other side, you'll have your cuticle pusher. I've used this once or twice for that. Mainly I use it as a small spatula for, like, if I'm using putty or glue or whatnot into small holes, filler and whatnot. It's a nice little tiny spatula for smoothing that type of stuff out. Then here we have the small screwdriver, and I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up, but you have etchings on there. One side is standard inches and the other side is etched with millimeters. handy little ruler when you need to measure something real quick. Then we have the orange peeler blade. I have used this a couple times to peel oranges. You use this part right here, it's fairly sharp, to score the rind on the orange or lemon or what have you. And then you're able to peel it a little easier. I've also used it to cut string on packages. It will go up underneath and pull. And then you have this edge right here, which is a chiseled edge. It's a scraper. I've used it to scrape stickers off of things like bottles and gifts that I'm going to be giving someone. Scrape the sales tag off. I've also used it to scrape stickers on windows off. So it's come in handy several times. And then this particular blade, Victornox calls it an emergency blade or letter opener. It's the one I use for cutting most of the time. I just like the little point. It comes to a very good point. It's a straight edge. To me, it comes in very handy for stripping wire, opening letters, of course. Just small cutting tasks. If you're in an office environment and you pull a knife this size out to cut something, no one's going to look at you twice. Some guys who like to carry those big tactical knives, people just kind of freak out. I also carry one of those, but normally, especially when I'm around a lot of people, I use this knife. And then you have your fingernail file. My wife uses this more than I do. She's always asking me when we're out somewhere, do you have your little knife with the fingernail file? Chips a nail or whatever, she can use it to fix it. I use it a lot to clean out mud and dirt and whatnot out from under my fingernails. And then we have the tweezers. Excuse me, not the tweezers. The key ring. Your light again. And the ink pen. Now, I have another model here that I want to show you. I picked this up when I worked in Saudi back in the late 90s. And it's stayed in the box pretty much ever since then. I hardly ever carry it. When I bought it, the guy who sold it to me gave me this. You can hook this onto your onto the key ring of the knife, and then it allows you to hook it to pretty much anything, or even put some keys on it, use it as a key ring. Just makes it a little bit more versatile. As you can see, it's still in the box. I haven't used it. It also comes with paper, and it's got in 8 different languages what the blades are. On this side, what do we got? Italian, Japanese, Netherlands, and I'm not sure what that other one is. On the other side, it's got it in English, English, German, French, Spanish. Yeah, English, German, French, and Spanish. But the main difference in the knife, hold it up, and you can see it is got a different shield on it. It's imprinted on there. It's got the standard shield shape, but instead of the cross, it has a globe with the V, and then underneath it says Victornox. And some Arab countries, they don't like displaying the cross, and Victornox came up with this idea so that they could sell the knives to those folks. So, kind of pretty neat and smart on their part. They can still sell it to the people who don't want the cross on there, but still want the Victornox. Now, some people complain that the Victornox is too big to carry in their pocket. It's too bulky. I don't have that problem. I wear jeans most of the time, and the coin pocket on most jeans is the fifth pocket, as they call it. I slide it in there and doesn't bother me at all. But for those who don't wear jeans and you still want to carry this, but you don't want to carry it in your pocket because it's too bulky, if you can get a pouch that Victornox makes that, as you can see, fits in there very nicely. It's got a little loop on here, put on your belt, slide on there, and you can carry it. If you don't like wearing things on your belt, then you're gonna have to go with a smaller knife, I guess. But this comes in real handy. A friend of mine says he likes my knife, but it's too big and bulky to carry in his pocket. He keeps telling me that, and I think he's hinting to me that if I were to give him this pouch and probably the knife, he would carry it. And I just might for Christmas or something one day. You never know. Now, show you the actual knife that I carry most of the time, or all the time. I changed out the scales. This one had the scales on to where it had a small ink cartridge that slid out. And I really didn't care for that, which is right there. I took the scales off, popped the scales off, put some new scales on there, and made this a standard. And I just like the camouflage, the woodland camouflage. Just thought it was kind of cool, and put that on there. And this is what I carry most of the time. I just recently changed the scales out on this. My older scales got all scarred up. I've had this knife since around the mid-90s. I had it with red scales and with just the tweezers and the toothpick. They got scarred up. One of them broke. Forget what happened, but they got broken. So I popped new scales on there from another knife. And I just prefer to have the knife with the toothpick. I use the toothpick quite a bit, and I use the tweezers every once in a while. Get a little splinter or something, you need to pull it out. But I prefer that configuration. The first Minn-champ I got was in this configuration. I ended up giving that to one of my kids, and I started carrying the other one. Didn't like that, changed it out, made it a standard also. It's hard to find the standards anymore without the pens on it. I guess the pens are more popular than the toothpick and tweezers on this particular model. But this is what I carry every day. It's very seldom I don't have it unless I'm flying. This particular knife, no matter where you go, is legal. Only place I've been that it wasn't was in Ireland, and any knife was illegal there. So, and if I don't have this in my pocket, I feel kind of naked. Even when I'm out camping and whatnot, I still have this. Do the little minor things. I do carry a larger knife for doing camp chores, but for little personal things, I still have this. So, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Any comments, leave them below. And have a good day. And remember, be prepared.